Hey y'all, I'm Marisa and welcome to my channel, Little Celine's Kitchen. As you can tell, we're going to be making something from the Pokemon series. They are Brock's jelly-filled donuts. Now, I love Pokemon. From the cards, to the manga, to the games, to the anime. Pokemon Generation 1 was always my favorite. And when I played Pokemon Red, my starter was always Charmander. He's my favorite fire type of all the generations. But out of the 890 Pokemon that have so far been discovered, my favorite will forever be number 133 here, Eevee. She's cute and powerful in so many ways. Now, I could go on and on about my love for Pokemon, but I got a craving for donuts, so let's get started, shall we? Come on, Pikachu. So the donuts we're going to be tackling today are traditional yeast donuts. Yeast donuts have a fluffy texture and have a nice chew to them.
Now over to the stove, I'm taking my 240 milliliters of whole milk and putting it on a low-medium heat, and I'm going to heat it to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. If it's too hot, the yeast will die, and if it's too cold, the yeast won't activate it. So 110 is where you want to be when you put your yeast in.
To my milk, I'm going to add 8.5 grams of active dry yeast and 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar. I'm going to give it a little whisk. Now I'm going to set it off to the side and let it chill out for about 10 minutes so the yeast can activate. Once your yeast is activated, it's going to start to bubble and have a creamy foam on top. If it doesn't have any foam to it, you're going to have to start over. But no worries, it took me a few tries. Just be patient. Now, in a large bowl, we're going to combine 520 grams of all-purpose flour, 75 grams of granulated sugar, half a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of nutmeg. Give it a little whisk. Now, in the same bowl, we're going to add 4 egg yolks, 43 grams of vegetable shortening melted, 43 grams of unsalted butter, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and lastly, your yeast mixture. Look at that yeast. Beautiful. All that activation. Using a wooden spoon, or what I have is a sturdy spatula, you're going to mix this yeast mixture until it starts to pull away from the bowl. So this is quite a workout. You can use a dough hook and a mixer, but that could cause it to overmix and make your dough really tough. I like to give this by hand, but like I said, it's a workout, so do whatever you can. If you are using a dough hook, I would say do it on a medium speed for about 5 minutes, no more than that. Just make sure your flour is fully incorporated as well as it's pulling away from the bowl. Pour it out onto a lightly floured surface. We're going to flour our hands. And if you haven't noticed, I just got my hat back. A Mankey stole it and I had to go chase it. Well, back to donuts though. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull the dough into itself. See, I'm turning it every time I push it, and what I'm doing is I'm pushing it with the palm of my hands. So turn it, pull it, push it. Turn it, pull it, push it. And you're going to want to do this until it's really nice and elastic. So this could take either about 5 to 10 minutes. It just depends on how fast you can knead the dough. Now that we've kneaded our dough, we're going to put it into a clean glass bowl, and we're going to spray it with some baking spray. So what this does is so the dough doesn't stick to the bowl. And we're going to let it sit in here for about an hour so it proofs and doubles in size. Now we're going to cover it with a clean towel and let it chill out for an hour. Abracadabra, alakazam. Look at that beautiful evolution. I'll roll this out to about 1/2 inch to 1/4 of an inch thick. So just get your rolling pin, flour that up, and start rolling. So this looks about a good size and good thickness. So now to make them Brock's jelly donuts, they're not your usual round. In the show, they're actually onigiri, which are rice balls. We have a triangle cookie cutter, and if you can't find a triangle one, you can use a square and just cut it diagonal. So for our donut, we're gonna dip it in a little bit of flour so it doesn't stick to the dough. So then we're gonna cut out our shapes. So now that you cut out all your shapes, you're gonna lightly pick them up. Oh, look at that, beautiful triangles. And we're gonna place them on a baking tray with a little bit of flour. Now with this leftover dough, you can re-knead it and roll it out one more time. If you do it anymore, it will get tough. Now that we've frayed out all our donuts, we're gonna cover them with a clean towel for about 20 minutes so they can enter their final evolution in the rising stage. All right, they have entered their final evolution in the rising stage. So now we're gonna take these over to the stove and fry these off.
With my hot oil, I heated it on a medium-low to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Please be very careful when putting your donuts in this oil. It is very hot and it will burn your skin. So we're going to cook these about a minute on each side. When they are ready to be flipped, you'll just flip them over when they're pale and golden. Beautiful, yummy. Now, when they're ready to be done, you're going to take it out, drain off all that little oil, and put it on a wire rack.
So now that we've fried our donuts, they're beautiful golden color, very nice and fluffy. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill them with the good stuff. So what I'm gonna do is take a sharp paring knife, and we wanna do is add an X and just kinda wiggle around to get it nice and hollow. Once you made all the holes in your donuts, now we're gonna fill it with our jam. Snip the tip. And we're gonna fill.
Using your favorite flavor, fill your donut until it expands and comes back at you. Yum.
Now that we've filled our donuts, we're going to brush them with a little bit of butter and coat them in powdered sugar to get it that onigiri appearance. And if you don't like powdered sugar, if you think that's a little bit too sweet, you can also just dip them in some donut glaze. I have 75 grams of unsalted butter, 230 grams of sifted powdered sugar, 1.5 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 60 milliliters of whole milk. And you just whisk it all together, and it's a one bowl method. So we're gonna take our donut and we're gonna brush it with some butter.
Brush your donut completely all over and around the sides. You want it completely coated with butter.
Once you brush it, drop it in. And you want to do about 2 donuts at a time. You don't want to crowd it because then they won't coat as easily. Take the air, seal it up, and shake. Alright. Be careful when you open the bag or else you'll have some powdered sugar flying at you. Alright, let's find our donuts in here.
I caught a donut and it looks amazing.
Once we got our donuts powdered, I'm gonna go get cleaned up and we'll finish them off. Now our donuts are ready. Now, you could eat these right then and there. I'm very tempted and I could eat one right now, which I probably would off camera. But since we're at the end, we're gonna make them look like the onigiri with some black fondant. And it's about the color of the seaweed in the anime series. So let's get these on. So what I have is my donut glaze. And I'm gonna do a thin layer of this donut glaze so it can stick to our donuts. All right, so now we take a donut and we're gonna put it at the bottom to where you put your jelly. Look at that beauty. As Brock would say, jelly donuts, my favorite. Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut. I had so much fun making this video, guys. These turned out so great, more than I ever expected. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys liked this video, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. If you guys have any requests for any lovely treats you would like me to make, just leave me a comment down below and I'll do my best to make it happen. Now, I don't know about you, but I deserve one of these. Right, guys?